Hey everyone, it's Tony here with Nerds Never Sleep, and I am bringing you guys another Iron Studios MCU statue unboxing today. Now I am going back to follow up last week's unboxing. That was a little bit more popular than I thought. Last week I had done Taskmaster from the Black Widow movie, aka Taskmistress. And I really actually liked the statue. I thought she came out really great. So, and again, as you can see here, she does partner up very well with Ronan, aka Hawkeye. And I couldn't really hate the piece as much as I hated what they did to the character. So I figured I would go today and I would show you guys tied for my top two characters in that film, which wasn't really hard. We're going to go with David Harbour's character of the Red Guardian, aka the Soviet Captain America, so to speak. And I'm really hoping they do this one justice because they actually did a great job with Taskmaster. So as we go through this set, I'm actually getting more hopeful just from Taskmaster alone. So we still have to do Black Widow herself and obviously Yelena. So I'm saving those two for the final two because they do have their faces more exposed, and sometimes they can be a little iffy when you have the actual actor and actress's faces exposed. I'm not too worried about Red Guardian because the majority of his face is covered. So hopefully if it looks as good as this picture right here, then we're in for something pretty cool here, because I thought in the movie his character was the great comic relief. I know they didn't do him as seriously as a lot of people wanted him to be, but I thought David Harbour delivered excellent on the part, and he was highly entertaining. Like, I would just watch a movie of his exploits, just running around trying to be, you know, the Soviet Captain America, like going around and just trying to do heroic stuff and possibly screwing up. So I would be okay with that. But again, R.I.P. the MCU. It's not doing too well lately. So let's go ahead, and as always, I'm gonna bring you guys over. I'm gonna let you take a look at this box, and then we're gonna open him up. It looks like he should be just like Taskmaster, a very easy assembly. Probably just one piece, slap it onto a base, and then it's going to be done. So that's what it's looking like right now, unless his arms come off. But other than that, I think he's going to be a pretty quick assembly. So we'll get him put together and check him out together. So let's start out with the box and go from there. Okay, so as you guys can see here, right off the bat, this is, again, one of the newer style boxes with the circular cutout. Iron Studios 1/10 scale, Marvel Studios Black Widow Red Guardian on the front. The basics. Here on the side, we have our Iron Studios logo and the Worlds to Collect, their new slogan. On the other side here, just a plain little thing, Red Guardian, the Iron Studios, that's it. And on the back here, we have a full picture of the Red Guardian statue. So again, he looks like he's going to be a pretty easy assembly. It looks like this should be pretty quick, but hopefully the details are going to be there, obviously. And then here on the top, we do have the Marvel Studios Black Widow. And up here on the top, we do have the Marvel Studios Black Widow Red Guardian. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to open him up right now. Okay, so now that it's all been cut, we can wiggle it loose. Obviously, as I always say, open it from the top where it says Iron Studios here, on top of the styrofoam. And yeah, this looks like he is simply two pieces. So yeah, so we're gonna have a base and we're gonna have the statue. So this one's gonna go super quick. Start out with the base. And it's another one similar to Taskmaster's here, where it's just file cabinets and stuff like that. So we're definitely in an office building. I'm not sure, unless this is actually a ledge, I'm not sure I like how actually smooth and perfect this piece is, but it does look like they're on, obviously, a floor. So maybe it does make sense because there was a lot of destruction in that. But compared to other bases, this is very plain, and it's probably due to just the floor. Right here, we're going to have a keyhole right here. So all he's going to have looks like one key to key in, and that's going to be it. So obviously on the bottom here, we've got all the details, the Marvel Studios, Iron Studios, and Red Guardian. So I'm going to put this down right here, and yeah, he's going to come right out. He's a little bit heftier than the majority of these. And let's take a look real quick. So the typical MCU costume details looks really good. The face, the eyes actually look really, really good. They're not all blotchy or anything. And the texture of the costume is very, very detailed. They did make him a little thicker, a little wider down here in the bottom and in the belly. So I appreciate that because he was obviously an overweight kind of ex-hero. So he's going to go in this way. So I'm going to make sure I'm getting this right. Looks like he's going to go right like that. Okay, so he's going to face the front. And that's it. One keyhole, and he's done. So this is probably the quickest one we've done yet. And I got to say, I do like how they did this one. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to bring you guys in and let you take a closer look at the Red Guardian. All right, so here we are here with the Red Guardian looking like he's just screaming at the top of his lungs. And you can tell right away just from back here that the costume itself is very, very, very detailed. You can tell all the folds in it, all the material. Even from back here, the color is spot on from the film. And again, you can actually see here they did a good job with the head and everything else. And obviously, I'm going to bring you guys in and let you take a closer look. But as you can see here, like I said, the base is very plain looking. Just like with Taskmistresses. I don't know if they're in an office building or what they're supposed to be, because every one of these so far, well, the two have had file cabinets everywhere. I mean, but I think he looks cool, the pose and everything. They made him, again, they did make him, if you see in here, they made him thicker. I'm just going to use my hands for reference here. They did make him a little wider, like he's supposed to be, and obviously the suit does suck him in the upper body, and they did kind of joke about that in the film. So they did a good job of kind of making him a little more hefty looking, and yeah, it looks pretty good. So I'm going to bring you in, and I'm going to zoom in for you guys so we can get a closer look here. Now, as you can see, the base, again, sorry about the blur, is definitely a little plain looking. We got a couple file cabinets, a couple files on the ground here, and some, bullet holes. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, the real detail is here in the suit. And obviously you can see here the stitch work, everything else is really, really good. I mean, even down to the details in the material and the pouches here. Like I said, as you can see here at his midsection, he is definitely wider. He's definitely a little heftier. But again, the details are there. And even down here on the bottom with the boot, with the leathery material, we have some wear on it, and it looks like it's dirty and stuff like that. So I do like when they do this with these pieces, as they add like the dirt and kind of dustiness to them. I mean, even here on his gloves, his gauntlets here, they're leathery, and they look like they're a little worn. So I like that, because obviously these suits have been in battle. And here on the front, you can see, I mean, even here with the belt and stuff, you can see the dirt and the stuff like that and the wear on it. And I know that is not paint errors. Because if you've seen any of my other videos, they do that with a lot of these, where there's debris and stuff like that, and just dirt and dust and stuff on these. So the pose looks pretty cool. I do wish his arms were a little bit bigger, because I feel like David Harbour looks a little bit more muscular. Sorry about that shaky cam for a minute. I wish his arms may have been a little bit bigger, but I guess that's probably not accurate. Obviously he's got the very broad shoulders right here. I'm trying to save the face for last. Even here, like on the side of his face, his ears, his helmet, everything is pretty well rounded. Definitely well sculpted, as you can see. Again, up here, I've heard people say in the past, oh, it's all scuffed up and messed up. No, that is how it's supposed to be. These are worn suits. They're supposed to be realistic. So no problem there. Here we're going to go and show you guys. He's got kind of the graying beard. I can dig that. And the face is actually really, really well done. You can definitely tell this is supposed to be David Harbour's portrayal of the Red Guardian. So I like it. They got the eyes are very, 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 very bright. You know, so you can actually see them from head on here. And I do have a small bit of something on there from the package. There we go. And, you know, even like the teeth and everything else, it's sculpted really good. I like it. I think the face is done well. So, all in all, he's a pretty solid piece. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you him with a couple of others before I close this out. And then we'll give my final thoughts. So here we are looking like a scene out of a Mortal Kombat game or something. We've got, obviously, Red Guardian with the Taskmaster. And these two do actually fit perfectly together. If you look at them, I mean, this looks like a really good face-off. And this, I don't know, you can't get much more perfect of a lineup like the way these two look together. So I think they size up together really well. And again, Taskmaster was deceptively well done. I was very surprised. If you guys, again, want to watch it, check out my unboxing and review of her. But yeah, these two fit together really, really well. And we're going to throw one more into the mix before I close this out. Here he is with Jeremy Renner's Ronin or Hawkeye from the Endgame line. Now again, looks really, really good. I think even these two look pretty cool facing off against each other. And again, as you can see here, the MCU base or the Endgame base is just a very basic thing. So it kind of almost does fit with this. So yeah, these two even look pretty cool squaring off against each other or squaring off together against Taskmaster. So again, the best way to beat Taskmaster is to gang up and use multiple styles because you kind of confuse them. You know, that's kind of what I always used to think about in the comic books. But yeah, these two work really well. As I showed in the Taskmaster unboxing, Hawkeye and Ronin both look really good. And this is a pretty cool scene here. He should have been in the movie. Sorry about that blur. Jeremy Renner should have been in this movie. That would have just made it really cool. And this is a scene I definitely would have liked to have played out. But that's it. I'm going to bring you guys out now, and I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so that was your closer look at the Red Guardian. Now, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I know I said when we first unboxed this, you know, the base is kind of plain. I don't know. But to be fair, I have been kind of my frame of reference, more or less, has been with the amazing bases that they've done with their animated series X-Men line. So it's not really fair to these two. And I'm going to actually go back and correct myself with Taskmaster as well. If you looked here, obviously you saw Ronin's base. It's just a bunch of jutting rocks. There is no ground. There's no nothing. And that's how a lot of these MCU Endgame final battle ones are. So I really actually can't complain about these ones and having the desk drawers and the file cabinets and like bullet holes and stuff like that going around. They're actually a little bit more detailed than a lot of the other MCU ones. So, I mean, I got to take it back. My comments about these being boring bases and just say, yeah, obviously they look a little different than the other MCU ones, but they're also taking place during a different film, different time period. So obviously the bases aren't going to match up perfectly, but I mean, it still works because these Endgame ones are just bland rocks jutting up everywhere, and the Infinity War ones are, depending on which scene it's taken from, are the brownish toned space rocks, or you have the grassland stuff from Wakanda. So that was pretty much it for those. So again, the bases on these aren't that impressive in general, but it is because it's the more realistic kind of tones, and that's just what the MCU does. Just like with the costumes, they're not as flashy and stuff like that as their comic book counterparts. So that being said, with Red Guardian, just like with Taskmaster, I gotta say I like this one. The only thing I wish they would have done was maybe given him a swap out arm with the Soviet shield. I know he didn't really do anything with it in the film, but I think it just would have been a cool little swap out for him. But very easy assembly on this one, even easier than Taskmaster's. Taskmaster's, we had to put the shield arm and the sword on. This one, just one click, done. Very simple. I actually really like the representation that David Harbour's face got with this one. And again, I know it's covered up by the cowl and the mask. But you look at it and you definitely know who it is. I mean, if you're familiar with the character and stuff. So you definitely know that that's David Harbour underneath that mask just by looking at it. And I think they did a great job. The details are all there. The facial hair looks really good. It's not just blotched on there. The details in the suit are very, very good. All the material and stuff like that. And I know you guys can't feel it yourself physically, but it's actually all raised and bumpy and stuff like that. So they did a great job here, and they did give him pouches. So, Rob Liefeld would be proud of that. But, I mean, I definitely think he's a great addition for the MCU stuff. Do I think it's a must-buy? Absolutely not. None of the Black Widow stuff is a must-buy because that movie sucked. But my personal opinion, I know, and most people's opinion. But do I think he makes a cool addition to your MCU collection if that's what you're going for? Absolutely. And I think Iron Studios, again, even with a minor kind of character, I guess you call him minor, from a movie that flopped, they didn't just phone this in. They put the detail in it. They put in the work. The piece looks great. So I really can't give hate for that. Just like with Taskmaster. As much as I hated what they did with this character in this movie, I couldn't really down this statue. The statue came out great. And again, if you guys want to see that, spoiler, I did do an unboxing video for that one and a review as well. But, I mean, I really can't hate on the piece. It's a great looking piece, and again, if you can get it for the right price, it's definitely worth it. I got the entire Black Widow line for around $110, $115 during the fire sale, as I call it, that Iron Studios had, where everything was like 75% off. Definitely worth the price for that. I even would go as to say, especially if you liked the character and David Harbour's portrayal, I'd say it's worth more than that, honestly. The quality is there. So it all depends. My recommendation depends on your like for the character, your like of the movie, your like of the portrayal that David Harbour did to the character. And I'm pretty impartial on it because, like I said, I liked him in the movie. I thought he was a great job. Every time he was on screen, he shoot it up. They did make him look like an imbecile. But it was great. It was humorous, and it was funny, and it fit. So, I can't give him a super high score. I'm not going to rate him as high as I rated Taskmaster, because Taskmaster had more details and things going on. But, I'm definitely going to give him a solid 7 out of 10. It's very basic, it's very clean, and it's very well sculpted. So, I really can't go too crazy with this piece on a rating score because it's very basic, and I got to compare it to other MCU stuff, and the other MCU line is just, they're way more dynamic. They all look like they're in a battle, stuff like that. So 7 out of 10 is definitely a good score, especially for an unpopular movie and an unpopular license, basically. So I like him. I have no regrets buying him. And honestly, I would have bought him at a more expensive price, knowing what he looks like now. Because he's going to fit in pretty cool. Like I said, even with Ronin and Hawkeye and stuff like that, he'll fit in good with them. So I am honestly looking forward to unboxing the other ladies of this film, which is again going to be Yelena and Natasha. So stay tuned for those as well. I'm kind of saving the most anticipated ones for last, and fingers crossed that they do a good job with this part, the face, because that's usually where they could be a little iffy with these actors' likenesses. Excuse me. But that's it for another unboxing and review, again, of another Iron Studios 1/10 MCU piece. Again, this was David Harbour's Red Guardian. I thought it was pretty good. Not a bad piece. Pretty good addition to any collection. Like I said, if you're an MCU person or a completionist in general, obviously it's worth picking up. You probably already picked it up already if you're a completionist. As always, click that like button, click that share button, click that subscribe button. Spread the nerdiness. Follow on all the socials. Linktree is in that description below. Thank you guys again for watching. I don't know if I already said that. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.